We'll have head coach Mike Nolan available with defensive end Kenny Willekes and quarterback Bryce Perkins. Coach, opening statement.
Is this
Yep.
Swergen? Good? Okay. First off, I'd like to congratulate Anthony Becht and his staff. They did an excellent job in the football game from a plan standpoint, as well as they made more plays than we did in the football game, so they did a nice job. I thought our offense started the game slow, but then they came back, bounced back, and really did some really good things. Really proud of them. They, like I said, I think it's in a resilient group as a football team, not just on offense, but our entire football team. And our offense definitely showed that by bouncing back second half and did some really nice things. I think we only punted once in the game, so that was good. But defensively, the thing that hurt us, I think, the most, we didn't play a great football game in the first half, but I think what hurt us the most were the explosives in the second half, the explosive passes that they got. Those they rebounded quickly from our offense driving down the field, and I thought that those hurt us. But outside of that, like I said, I thought that they deserve a lot of credit, our opponent, St. Louis, and they came away with the win.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with James here.
Coach, obviously down to the wire matchup, not exactly the finish that you wanted. The two-quarterback system, once again, Danny's healthy, so you kind of went back and forth. What was kind of, was that the game plan heading in, and what was the decision to take Bryce out when he was 11 for 12 in the first half?
When we started the game, Bryce was going to be the starter in the game. If you just went in a perfect world, it was going to be the first quarter, second quarter, and then decide in the second half what we would do. Bryce was doing a real good job, and it was in the middle of the drive as well. So it was like 5 minutes to go in the second quarter that we put Danny in, and we didn't finish the half very well. So when we came back out, Bryce got most of the playing time in the football game.
The atmosphere here in St. Louis was electric.
Yeah.
Definitely kind of rattled some of the guys. We saw some false starts and penalties. How did that affect the overall game outcome?
Well, I mean, I will say they had a great fan base here. They did an excellent job. And I believe we only had one illegal procedure penalty. Was that right? Was there more than one? I thought there was one. Outside of that, but look, it's...
There was three.
There was three. Forgive me. Well... All right, but anyhow, look, they definitely have a good, their crew here does a nice job. They make a lot of noise. They're into it, exciting. I think it actually, it motivates both teams, to be honest with you, all the noise. It's, the guys love to play in a crowd and things like that. So, but it's pretty electric here. It's nice. They do a nice job. Mm-hmm.
Bryce, you had a really productive day, 21 of 25, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns. What were you seeing out there in the field today? And, talking about that noise, how were you able to kind of tune that out and just continue to be efficient?
Yeah, I mean, in a game, in an atmosphere like this, it's important to stick to your keys, and I think Coach called a great game, and guys did a good job making plays. So that's, especially in a noisy atmosphere, you got to be diligent with what you're seeing, what you're reading, and, never let the outside, the atmosphere, kind of impact your game in a negative way. So I think, we didn't finish all the drives, but, for the most part, just sticking with the keys and kind of just, letting the guys go out there and make plays.
Kenny, like Coach said, the defense, kind of up and down performance today. Max really used his legs a lot, 70 yards on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns. How did that kind of change how the defense had to approach this game?
Yeah, obviously props to them. They had a good game plan, and they schemed us up well, but I think we just made some uncharacteristic mistakes on defense. Whether it was the guys trying to do too much, getting out of their gaps, not running to the ball. I felt like the first half we just didn't play how we usually play, swarming to the ball, team defense, and we got that corrected at halftime. I was proud of the way the guys bounced back. We played a lot better in the second half, and then they just made a couple more plays than us. So, it's just about being consistently doing what we do, and I think we'll learn from this and get better and move on.
Anybody else in person here? Otherwise, we'll go to Zoom. Okay, we'll take a few questions from the folks on Zoom. Feel free to raise your hand, and we'll get the mic to you. Charles Rush, we'll start with you.
Yes, my question that I have is, obviously you guys really played a tough game, and you definitely showed the toughness of the team on offense and defense. How do you move forward and prepare for the game that's coming up here at Fort Field next week?
Who's that question directed to, Charles?
To either Coach Nolan or either player.
Yeah, go Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with just kind of just looking at the tape, seeing, where we went wrong. I mean, we had a lot of good and then fix up some stuff. And the key thing is watching the tape and correcting mistakes, and never let this linger, never let it compound, and just keep going. We got a good football team, and there were some plays out there that we should have made, but there was a lot of plays out there that we made too. So trying to get back, watch the film, correct it, and then build off it, going forward.
Michael Bell, would you like to ask a question?
Yes, this is for Coach Nolan. I was just curious if going forward, if you're going to stick with a starter at quarterback, or will you still be doing the rotation? Right now, I believe the Panthers are 1-2 with the rotations and 2-0 when there's a full-time starter in the game. Thank you.
Good question. We'll make that decision during the week. But very good question. I do need to compliment Bryce. Played an outstanding football game today, and Danny, when he was in there at the end of the first half, didn't do so well. But when he came back in the second half, he did some good things. That was good to see. It kept us on track with the way our offense was performing, and that was obviously when Bryce came out with he got hit. So, but anyhow, yeah, we'll make that decision during the week this week.
One more question from James Larson.
Obviously, the super challenge is kind of a hard thing to try to figure out, especially in the middle of a game when emotions are high. Down the stretch of the game, you didn't have it. That second touchdown to Hakeem Butler, questionable. If there was a little bit of a push off, would you have tried to challenge that play if you could have?
Well, it's easy to second guess. Yes, I would have, but again, that's neither here nor there. That's what happens, when you use your challenge. I thought we had a good challenge in the first half when I called it, but we were unsuccessful. So, like you said, I lost the challenge. Challenge flags. I mean, you really got to think about them. Now, it's they're very valuable. You don't want to just use them, when it's not really something that has to do with a lot of field position or points. But I thought I was making the right call when I did, and I was obviously wrong.
Thanks, guys. That'll wrap up the Michigan Panthers availability. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you all. Appreciate it.